So Selamat Pagi, Salam Sejahtera, and Salam Campus Rama, and welcome and a very good morning to all our respected academicians, as well as our Dean, and I thank the Dean, Dr. Muhammad Rizal, Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Rizal Abdul Hamid, for inviting us here, as well as Mr. Hafizi for organizing this road show. Now, this morning, actually, the director of our Center for E-Learning, Associate Professor Dr. Gyapeng Edmund, is not available, so he has asked me to just welcome everyone on his behalf. So I send you his greetings. He has just informed me that he is not available today, I think because of lecture or some other event. So we'll proceed directly to the roadshow itself. Now, what we try to do during the roadshow is first we appraise you of what your current status is in terms of the e-learning achievements of your faculty. So your faculty has done very well in terms of the achievements. First, in terms of the blended learning, you have achieved the full 100%. And then you have also, you're one of the top 3 in the OER, Open Educational Resources. So congratulations to all of you who have contributed to that. I can see a lot of contribution because there's almost 90 objects, the learning objects inside the OER repository. So congratulations to all of you. And thank you very much for supporting and contributing to the OER. So this actually shows up on your dashboard. So we are creating a dashboard for all the faculties, and you are the top 3 in that particular dashboard. Okay, so congratulations on achieving that. I know that OER is quite difficult because you do have problems. So if you do have problems, we can always resolve them. Nora is here to help you in case you have any problems. Okay. The next thing which we discuss in the roadshow is the information which we get from the Majlis Pembelajaran, e-PEMBELAJARAN IPTAS Negara. So that is MEPTA. Okay. So we have the MyCell and MEPTA, and they give us guidance and instruction for each month or during their regular meetings. So with regard to MEPTA, there have been no further information with regard to the course content and the requirements for the 1732, etc. So we remain in status quo on that. There's no development as that with regard to that. Puan Salmi also has been following up, but there's no additional information from MEPTA with regard to that. So we are on track with that. Now, the next thing which we want to actually emphasize that, and because yesterday some of you may have attended the online session, which is the roadshow by the MQA. Okay, so now the MQA is encouraging us to develop the MOOCs, the micro credentials, and other content online. So, and the ODL. So we have 3 things. We have the micro credential, the MOOCs, and the ODL. Okay, so these are the 3 things. Now, yesterday when they were in the meeting, I posed a question to them regarding 3 things which our lecturers usually ask. The first is the standards for the MOOC. What is the standard for the MOOC? They have not specified standards in their guideline. Unlike the other things which we have, the cognitive levels and the all the domains, they have not specified that in the guidelines themselves. So we are free to develop the MOOC based on our broad guideline of the institution, which I'm going to share with you now. The next thing which I asked them is about the assessment online for the MOCs and ODLs and the micro-credentials. Again, for this one, they say you can either do it by online proctored examination, which means the student answers the examination with the camera turned on, or we do it via a classroom-based proctored examination. Okay, that's the second thing. So again, they give us the freedom to do that. So the third one I focused on or asked them about was the certification itself. Now, most of the MOCs are offering the digital certification in the form of a digital certificate, which is validated using blockchain. I'm not from IT field, you'll be knowing more about this. But again, for this, MEPTA says, the MEPTA and as well as the MQA say that it's entirely up to the institution to develop this certification facility. So I would suggest that with regard to certification for MOOCs, each of the respective departments or faculties have their own certificate and their process pending the guidelines from MQA and MEPTA for future certification. Okay, so I will focus today's roadshow primarily on 2 things. The first thing is any kind of issues related to the system itself, which you can pose. So any of the lecturers, you can pose a question to me now, and we will resolve these issues. after that session, we will move on to the Mooc. So I've created a special kind of, not special, it's a easy way for you to develop your Moocs, in which I have streamlined the review process. So I will discuss that with you, as well as the Mooc development, because that is now one of our key thrust areas. In terms of the blended learning and the achievements, it's already achieved. Now we need to transition to the next part, which is the Moocs, the ODL, and the micro credentials. So I will focus on that later. But before I go into that, we will ask Mr. Hafizi and the lecturers for any kind of feedback with regard to the system itself. Okay, Mr. Hafizi, do you have any comments or inputs? This is where we can share and discuss these issues.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Kenneth. I would also expect other lecturers here, who are with us today, to share their problems or their experience using Smart UMS. So far, if we have a problem regarding Smart UMS in terms of using the system, they can directly come to me, and then I will try to resolve the problem. But if you have a bigger problem such as server issues, then I will forward to Encik Awang specifically. But anyway, any questions regarding Smart UMS?
Anything will do. If you need any explanation, any clarification on usage of any of the functionality, then please raise it now, because we will solve that for you. Or we will raise this up. If it can't be solved, we raise it up to JTMK.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is one update from yeah, sorry, please proceed.
Yeah, good morning, Kenneth.
Yeah, good morning, Jeffrey.
My name is Jeffrey. I had an issue whereby one of my students, when they answered their midterm, and suddenly in the middle of the answering, because I give them time limit of 90 minutes to answer the MCQ and 90 minutes to do the essay. And suddenly, before the time expire, they can answer anytime, as long as it's within the 24 hours when I open the session. But before the time expire, suddenly Smart 3 they were exited from the exam or the midterm or the evaluation process. So I did not give them a second attempt, because I have already put that down as only one attempt. So when they want to do it again, they cannot go back to where they stopped. And the only way I can do is to give them a new paper, so that everybody can he can redo the examination again. So is there any process whereby Smart UMS can detect where the students stop if these things happen? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jeffrey, and sorry to hear about this problem, because this is usually encountered because of the time issue with regard to the Smart UMS. So when the quiz is executed, it's running in it runs its own clock. So what happens is that when there is a disruption in the internet service, there will be a disruption in the quiz itself, means the time will lag. However, we cannot go back to that point again. And secondly, as you have already stated, once the quiz is executed, and if we reissue the same quiz again, we will have the problem with the student already knowing the previous answers. I will just ask Nora regarding that. Nora, can you please explain to Dr. Jeffrey regarding the quiz? Nora?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, can you please explain to Dr. Jeffrey regarding the quiz? Any other option is there to recover the quiz? Because what I know, once the quiz executes, it has to be executed to completion. The student cannot go back to the original one, right? Unlike Google Form and other quiz.
Yes.
You
Maybe we can only admin can do like user override.
Oh, you can do the user override.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Jeffrey,
I think
can we
user
liaise?
override as the owner of the subject, we can do that, Dr. Kenneth. That one we can do. But what I say, what I'm asking now is, if they are doing the essay, they cannot go back to where they were kicked out from the system, right? So
No,
they
they,
need to redo everything again.
yes,
Sorry,
yes.
Dr. Jeff, let me try to understand your issues and try to resolve it. How many students affected?
One only,
Oh, one
as
only.
explained.
Okay,
As
what kind of
explained.
what kind of question is that? All essays?
Essay, as
Okay, one
explained.
question
Yes.
of essay.
Two essay questions.
Two essays.
One it has been completed, and the other one is halfway completed.
Halfway, and then you cannot see the second one, even it is half completed. Betul ke?
My side is okay. If I
Mm.
can see one, I'm okay already.
Mhm.
The student side, he wants to complete it.
And then he told you he couldn't finish because the server issues or the internet issue.
Yeah, he was kicked out from the system before the time expires.
Mm. All right. I mean, we cannot straight away solve the server
I
issue.
know. I'm
Yeah,
just letting you know what.
yes, yes.
I'm not asking you for
Yeah,
Sebab
but
dia
this,
satu orang
solution.
saja.
yeah,
Yeah, if I were you, I will give another question to these students, and then we maybe give 30 minutes, because we also don't know whether the issue is from the student side or UMS side.
yeah, but Dr. Jeffrey and Mr. Hafiz, thank you. It's good that you raise up this issue, because earlier
Yes.
we always experienced this with almost all the question. Whenever there's an MCQ, the time of the, it's actually the clock inside the machine and the clock in the server is actually different. So that's why the problem comes up. But I think if it's coming for one or two students, can they send a screenshot to you, Dr. Jeffrey?
Yeah,
And then
they did. Actually, this thing has already been
what?
this one has already been revised, and I've already given them a question.
I see.
This one,
Yeah.
if in the future, if it happens,
Mhm.
are we going to do the same? Try and error, give them again, or the system will never be. It's like that. We cannot improve anymore, right?
Because if the answer has been written by the students and then the student has not clicked the submit button, I'm afraid the answer is still in that student's computer, not in the server's memory, because he or she hasn't clicked the submit button. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dr. Jeffrey, you did give a 24-hour window, right, for them to actually attempt
Yes, yes.
the test.
Anytime within the 24 hours.
But
Mm.
was the
But
test?
the time limit is only once you click on, you only have 3 hours to complete
Oh,
everything.
okay.
But you
That's
can
why,
access
because
any time to give so many reasons of like.
oh,
So
the
I said,
time for
okay, no,
execution
never
is only
mind.
3 hours. The time for
Yeah,
execution was only 3 hours.
yes,
Is it practical for them to complete within 3 hours the system?
yes, it
I
is.
mean, okay. So this one is something which we don't have control over the connection itself, the external connection. If the student is connecting from outside, so
Yeah,
that
yeah.
issue
Because
will
that's
be there.
why I said I've already determined the dates 10 weeks before your final exam. You need to find out where you can go for internet. You can do within the 24 hours. It's not that I'm saying that 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. only. You see,
Yeah,
we already on our side we try to take all the initiatives so that these things, internet connection, all the things are minimized already. Okay,
yeah.
so
So
yeah, thank you.
yeah, thank you, Dr. Jeffrey. We will actually whenever you have a issue, right, please document it and email to Nora, because one of them is to keep record of the process itself, and then one is to address the issue with JTMK, because we will have a meeting with JTMK and we discuss these issues with them. I am sorry and I apologize
No,
for that.
it's okay, Kenneth. But one thing that
Honestly, yeah.
Mr. Avizi mentioned just now, if the students did not click yet, so that particular thing or the answers must be inside their computer. But is this something that is sure? I would like to ask Nora. Is
Nora
this
syllabus
something
itu, I'll ask, Nora syllabus itu tekan submit
sebelum?
sebelum, sebelum it will be still in your computer in the cache file.
Kalau sebelum tekan submit,
Yeah.
mostly jawapan tu dia tidak save. Dia akan save kalau terputus atau tiada internet connection. Sistem akan save, cuma susah juga Doktor kalau quiz ni. Dia banyak isu. Memang banyak isu.
Itulah baik sebenarnya.
And then the lecturer also cannot re-give the quiz because all the questions are
No.
known. So the same.
Tapi kalau kita tahu bahwa memang betul ada masalah dan memang betul dia begini, dan itulah saya tanya tadi, betulkah tidak kalau sebelum tekan jawapan tu masih lagi ada dalam komputer student. Kalau betul kau cakap tadi, saya akan guna benda yang sama. Tapi tadi kau cakap susah juga mau cakap. Jadi saya pun tidak akan cakap.
Kalau dari segi kuis ni memang banyak masalah yang kami terima. Bila ada satu case tengah jawab terputus internet, tapi dia punya jawapan still ada dalam smart tree. Dia still
saya
capture.
pun ada juga. Dia masih tapi halfway lah. Tapi
halfway.
disebabkan masa belum habis, dia masih lagi boleh teruskan walaupun dia relog in. Itu saya pernah
boleh.
juga.
Okay. Kalau yang tidak tekan submit ni, tengok dari setting quiz juga, dia auto submitted ke atau tidak? Kalau dia
Tidak, saya punya bukan auto. Saya punya memang
kalau
bukan
tidak,
auto.
kalau tidak dia tidak tersave lah yang begitu. Melainkan kita set dia sebagai auto submit. So habis masa
Auto submit
atau
means habis time limit dia akan submit apa yang
auto
ada.
submit lah. Okay, Doktor.
Thank you,
Thank you, Dr. Chair.
I think Dr. Nur Hamiza is raise her hand, please. You can turn on.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor.
Yeah, good morning, Doctor.
Yeah, I experienced what Dr. Geoffrey experienced many times. It's very frustrating, but nevertheless, it is what it is. But I did discuss this with Mr. Hafizi a few times. And then when it comes to quiz, right, I learned a huge lesson in life when using Smart UMS, that I have to set that it doesn't matter whether the student submit or not, then it needs to be auto-save. But the issue is when it is auto-save and a student didn't manage to submit, didn't click the submit button, right? Then it will be a nightmare for us to mark. Because I think I discussed this with Mr. Hafizi, because I couldn't directly mark from Smart UMS. So that means I need to reopen the thing and then ask student to click the submit button. Then I can assess their answer in Smart UMS. But it requires a lot of try and error. Last time I used to download everything and then I mark it manually. But we figure out, me and Mr. Hafizi, we figure out that we need to reopen the thing and then allow students, those who didn't manage to click on the submit button, to submit. Then I will be able to assess it directly via Smart UMS. But I think the most frustrating part about this is the internet connection, definitely. Especially if we have like a limited time. Let's say for my midterm exam this semester, I have like 6 short essay question, and then it need to be done in I think 90 minutes. It's a very short too, but the issue is we mentioned to students this way earlier and then ask them to ensure that the internet connection is good or whatnot, right? But these are the thing So and then end up I have to reopen the exam, I think berbelas kali. It's not even few times. I'm talking berbelas kali. Override, and then the exam is supposed to be like 90 minutes, and then end up I have to sit in front of the computer until 5-6 in the evening. Fun, no joke. But nevertheless, I do not know how this thing can be improved. Then we need to throw back this issue to pusat e-pembelajaran lah, because as a lecturer, right, we can try and error over times, but it depends on the nature of the subject also lah. Macam Dr. Joffrey punya subject as well as mine kan. So maybe we can have like macam for my coming assessment, it will be take home exam 1 whole week. So student can do whatever lah. They can Google if they want, but I have like turn it in. It shouldn't exceed 20%. Then that is one way to ensure that they they don't plagiarize, hopefully. But the answer would be disaster lah, nevertheless. It doesn't matter whether we give like 3 hours kah, 2 hours kah, 5 days kah, or 1 whole week kan. But
Agree, doctor.
annoying kan, doctor? But the thing is, we really hope that e-pembelajaran kan can do something about it. Macam the system can capture the answer. Let's say terputus kan. Sometimes kan when it's terputus, right? Yes, they manage to answer like 4 out of 6, but sometimes kan the system can capture like 2, 3 question, and then students start to panic. So once they panic kan, then they will make the whole class panic. I say, just be calm, and then I will resolve this issue lah. Otherwise, then we can always ask them to send their answer via email or whatnot lah. You know, that would be the last.
Very
resort.
true. Very true, doctor. I actually divided my exam MCQ and essay into 2 different sections, so that if they manage to finish one section, then the other section will not be affected. And this is what I learned from my past mistake, because I grouped everything in one. Once something happened to that section, everything will be gone.
Yeah, I mean, online learning make us so creative.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we try to ensure that student didn't cheat lah, and then we need to ensure that student manage to answer everything lah, you know, all this thing lah. But nevertheless, I don't know, but credit to Smart UMS lah. They improve a lot lah since 2009.
Agree.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Dr. Nur Hamiza. Actually, we face that same thing. I mean, frustration, right? Sometimes I just switch to Google Form, because the Google Form is, I convert the quiz to Google Form, because of course there's a problem with the grade book. If you're using, like, if you have like 300 students and 150 students, then the grade book becomes an issue, because you cannot import from that worksheet directly back again from the Google Excel.
Yeah, true.
So that is the thing. So we actually try to resolve this issue, because JTMK, but they always say that it's linked back to the connectivity issues, the connectivity between the students' terminal and that server. So earlier, when we had our face-to-face, right, we used to actually conduct certain quizzes in the library system, and we used to use that system in our UMS library, because it's the only place where we could ensure that the system is actually functional. But we will inform them, and we try to improve the best that we can. And we apologize for the inconvenience caused to you, because I know it's frustrating when we are doing the teaching as well as have the system to manage as well.
Oh, Dr. Kenneth, no apologize needed, because we learned throughout the years, right, that we need to make this thing better, and then it become better lah. It won't be perfect lah, nevertheless.
Yeah, but still, it's our commitment as a service provider to ensure that you don't have to just imagine if the other internet service provider like Google does the same. But we have constraints regarding the connection between the outside. There was also one issue with the lecturer using the, they first speak, and then the student has to listen to the text and then record that, select the. That also was the issue, because by the time for example, the speaking, the audio file will run for 20 seconds, but already the system will move forward, and the student has no time to answer.
Oh, that is a bad idea.
That also is there. So certain thing not recommended in the system. The other issue which lecturer may face also is the scientific symbols and notations. If you're using any statistical symbols, also we have that complaint regarding the usage of statistical symbol in the quiz. Okay, so we try whatever we can do to resolve. But thank you for sharing your experiences with the system, because this gives us a pointer to where the system and how it is working.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions related to the system itself?
Sorry, Dr. Kenneth.
Yeah.
One thing you should note that based on Dr. Miza's experience, she used auto submit, but auto submit doesn't work. That's the issue. Yeah, and then I believe it is because I mean for your information, I mean for everybody here, I mean Dr. Kenneth, you know that our Smart UMS is using Moodle 3. Moodle is a software. It's an open source software that we use to have a Smart UMS. When we have open source, meaning that we have, I mean, more than, I mean, many developers are keeping updating and developing the software, and then the software keep changing from version to versions. Maybe for example, I also actually experienced the same thing where auto submit doesn't work, and then that makes me not to use time limit anymore for this semester. And I keep on open the quiz. I mean, for 1 or 2 weeks without any time limit. So I mean, that's true. We have to be creative in using Smart UMS. So different persons might experience different problems and different solutions also. I mean to solve the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Hafizi. As you mentioned earlier, right, we are using the Moodle, but we are not using the latest version of Moodle. So I checked why it is not being used, the latest one, because of the security update. Because when Moodle creates the latest version, the beta, what they call, the security feature are not updated. So again, we end up problem when we upload on our server, the platform. So that's what we got from the, means from the experience of why we don't use the latest Moodle version. Any other question related to the system? For example, uploads, downloads, students' complaints regarding the capacity and resolution of that? Like usually for assignment, they have capacity issue. Any other issues, Dr. Hafizi? If you have a, you can also type in the chat window if you need to do so.
Yeah, maybe someone can share their experience using other modules such as forum, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there is for the forum, right? Puan Salmi Reddy, she has introduced the chat forum. Actually, it's in the chat, so you can do live chat. But even that, you will have issues with connectivity if you have connection problem. We also use the Discord. Are anyone using Discord? Discord for communication with the students? Dr. Hafizi, you're using Discord? Okay.
My kids are using Discord.
Okay, so you use Discord.
I'm
So,
using Discord, Doctor, Prof.
yeah, okay, Dr. Anifa. Actually, we use, what I found out is with regard to student engagement, they will engage more in Discord as compared to the normal Smart UMS chat window. They will prefer to use Discord if you give them the link. But with Discord, you cannot record your interaction in the system itself.
If you ask me, Dr. Kenneth, I prefer to use Telegram. It records everything.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I think Discord is because the students are using for gamification for their games, so they are familiar with all those buttons and the stream for the Discord. Any other comments or regarding the system itself? How many of you are using the Moodle mobile app with the Moodle system? Are you using the Moodle mobile app so you don't use your WhatsApp to communicate with students? Are you using the app? Okay, so if I will, you can post your questions in the chat. I checked the chat window. Yeah, so some of the lecturers are saying also that Dr. Meena also says the same thing with regard to the quiz itself. Okay, so if I will move on to the next part, which is the MOC itself. So Juan Eugenia, is currently the coordinator for MOC and the OER, but I will introduce you to the system which we are developing for MOCs, and I will also explain to you the difficulties and challenges which we face, not with the MOC development itself, but the development of the MOC platform at UMS. Now, as all of you may be aware, UMS earlier had a platform called Ums Mooc. Okay, that platform was under a private provider from KPT, which was the openlearning.com. They had recommended, so we were using that particular platform. Now, what happened is that as time went by, the platform actually has a charge per user. It's no longer free. So what we have done is we have developed our own platform for the Mooc. I will just share this with you. Okay, so okay. So I will explain to you basically what the MOC platform is and what is our strategy for the Mooc development at UMS over this year. And I would encourage you to develop the MOCs because we are going to develop a dashboard. So I have a Ums Mooc dashboard. So I'm going to share this dashboard with you. And this dashboard will actually be used for the hosting your MOCs. Okay, but I will go into the MOC itself and what we are expecting from the lecturers and what is the procedure for deploying your MOC. Now, I will share the presentation with you and I will share the link for those of you who cannot access or who are having problem with the viewing online. Okay, I'll share the link with you. Okay, so this MOC has been going on at UMS for quite some time, for the past 4 or 5 years, and we have been looking at the components of the Mooc. Now, earlier there was no clear guideline with regard to the components of the MOC, what should go into that, what elements are that. But now we have a guideline from the MQA. The guideline, as I mentioned earlier, is not very specific, it's more generic. But these are the elements which you should have in a MOC, what is expected. One of them is a clearly defined course structure. So you follow something like a table 3 or a table 4 as we have it, a teaching material in the form of content, the tools for assessment, tools for interaction, and tools for analytics. These are the elements which go inside a MOC. Now, the next issue which comes to MOC is the certification for MOCs. Now, for the part of certification for the current point in time, we leave the certification entirely to the faculty or the department itself or the institute, as the case may be. Because earlier, when we had our face-to-face classes, many of the faculties and departments were conducting courses and they used to issue a certificate from the faculty or the department itself. However, it carried the UMS logo. So this kind of certificate can be issued for the MOOCs. Now, the more advanced versions of the certification use blockchain technology, and currently for those of you who are involved with IT and software, the MOOCs are actually using what is known as the Experience API. Okay, so the Experience API, I was just checking the chat. They are using what is known as the X API or the Experience API and the CMI5 standard for the MOCs. So this makes the MOOCs compliant to the global standards. However, in UMS, we are not complying with that standard because we need to convert these into a SCORM file, and SCORM file requires software. So currently we use the basic MOOCs, and they still are, how do you say, in terms of the MQA, you can still go in for the certification of these MOCs. Okay, now the MOOC which we are proposing at UMS is actually what is called a learner-driven MOOC. So that means you can allow the learner to develop or to answer the questions and follow a self-paced regimen, as opposed to a MOOC whereby you present the lectures and at a specific time, and then the student has to be present at that time. This creates additional burden on the lecturer. So we are allowing the lecturers, or we are recommending that we do a self-paced MOC. Okay, I will just show you the file 1 minute. I just want to show you what I use. Okay, I will show you an example, and this is a very simple example of a MOOC, so you get an idea of what exactly is. Okay. 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 Now this is an example of what I had developed here. For this is a trial. It's a trial MOC, and people have attempted it. and they have completed it as well. Now this is a trial MOC, and the system has been set up so that a student does not have to refer to the instructor repeatedly. So what we have here is a conditional formatting, which means that if you can see this, okay, I'll just zoom on it, you will see a conditional formatting here, which says restricted, not available unless the activity course description is marked as complete. So that means the student has to first complete one activity before they move on to the next video. And then again, it moves on to the next video and so on and so forth. Now, this is a conditional formatting of the MOOC itself. So that means you can set up the MOOC and you can let it run at its own pace, and you can set up a date for the completion, and then you look at that date. You basically check the gradebook on that date and then certify those who have completed and those who have not completed. Now, again, with this system, there won't be issue of the time as with the quiz. You have faced the problem because this is actually driven by the learner itself, and it's not time dependent on the server. So this is the way in which you can develop your MOOC. Now, this MOOC has about 5 or 6 contents, and then it has a quiz and an assignment for each section. So it's entirely up to you how to formulate the MOC. Okay, I go back to my other slide. Okay, so this is the, we go back. So we have proctored MOOC, but in this case, it's not a proctored MOOC. It's actually done in the online system. Now, when you design a MOOC, as with almost all other learning objects, you need to have the CLOs, the PLOs, and the criteria for assessment within the MOCs. So you have to have your objectives, your the learning outcomes for that MOOC. So, and then you have this assessment for the MOC. Now, most of the MOCs will ask an assignment in the form of a written document, like a PDF file, and so on and so forth. But if you are using any elements of psychomotor, you can always ask the student to submit an assignment as a video file, and you have a rubric for assessment of that video file. Okay. Now, the concept for the MOOC. Generally, if you're teaching a concept in a MOOC, for example, if you're teaching international finance, or you're teaching a specific element of management or a compliance with a standard, a MOOC does not cover up the entire, the scope is limited to a specific element. So usually for MOOC, there'll be only one concept or one element which is covered, as opposed to a full course where you cover all the elements. So the scope of MOOC is limited, or else we will overload the students, we'll have a cognitive load. Now, what MQA has recommended is that when we do a MOOC, we actually have the credit hour for the MOOC, so that we can credit transfer the MOOC. So usually, as you know, we have 120, 3 credit hours is 120. So you have to do the SLT in terms of the 3 credit hours. So for MOOC, usually it's 1 credit hour. So you have to equate that in terms of the student learning time as well as the student engagement time, because that's how the formula is. But now, as you know, we have 84 in our table 4.2, so we can stick with that with regard to the student learning time. The reason why we need to do this is because later on, when you want to transfer the credit for this MOOC, when the mechanism is in place, you always have the documentation to prove that SLT documentation. Now, in the assessment for the MOOCs, we usually have the objective, formative, and summative assessments. Generally for MOOC, each module, for example, each video module is accompanied by one short quiz. So when the student completes it, they move on to the next quiz. And then finally, usually we have one assignment as a summative assessment. And then you have the assessment landscape for MOOCs. You can do a cognitive. Psychomotor is challenging because you can't actually have psychomotor assessment in a MOOC unless you're doing a video-based assessment. Affective is almost impossible to assess online in terms of a MOOC, and the higher order thinking skills also are difficult. Now, you have to be careful with the, what we do is when we are asking for assignments online, right? We usually ask the student to give the assignment online, and then they will do, and then we do a Turnitin, and then we check for similarity. But the students are now using AI-based software. I'm not sure if you're aware of that. There is something called Writer, there's Quillbot, and there is Grammarly. So these three software, actually, if you put in a document and ask it to paraphrase, it will actually turn around the document completely. And we have noticed that increasingly with assignments which I receive online, scientific assignment generally, they will use the same text, means copy and paste from abstract, paraphrase, and you get a clone of the article, but it's not the article and it does not show up on a similarity search. So this kind of things you should be careful of when you do the Mooc assessments, because when you're opening it up, this is bound to happen in an international context. Okay, so people who overseas may be accessing your Mooc and can resort to this kind of plagiarism. Now, for the Mooc assessment, you can also resort to viva voce if you have a small number of students, and as I mentioned, psychomotor for the videos. Now, how do we do this process at UMS? So I'll clarify this process. I'll make it easier so that you can streamline the process of the Moc development and design. So the first part of the Mooc is actually the design element. The second part is the review, deployment, and evaluation. Okay, now let's begin with the first one. So for design element, I'm going to give you a template for the Mooc design. Okay, that's a standard template. For you have to fill up this template, complete it, and submit it to a form which I've created for you. The next part is the reviewer. You have to recommend 2 reviewers. Now we have given the freedom of the appointment of reviewer entirely to the content creator or the Mooc creator, because we do not want to create any conflicting interests. In a review ecosystem, sometimes a reviewer may have conflicting interests with the content creator, and this may raise issues. They will delay it and so on and so forth. So generally, we only provide 2 weeks to the reviewers to provide a review document, to review the document, and they will submit the formal review in a preset form. So we give a preset form for them to submit the review. After you complete the review, you improve the document, just as in the case of a peer-reviewed journal, and then you deploy it. We will deploy it for you on the Smart, and we will give you the link. And you can operate the Mooc, and you can evaluate it based on your course deadlines. Now I have deployed and done the entire process, so we are clear regarding the steps, and we will solve any problem which you face with regard to that. Okay. So this is what is the process. So the lecturer recommends 2 reviewers with expertise in the subject. They will be appointed. So it's very important that we recognize the reviewers. So PEP will issue a letter of appointment to the reviewers. So this they can put into their ELNPT, and at the end of the year you get a like you can actually claim the for your effort, you can claim mark for your ELNPT. So we ensure that we give the letter of appointment. So there are key components of the design template, which I will discuss. So these are the requirements. I will show you the forms after I finish this presentation. So you have the course co-element of the MOCs, which are the syllabus template, the pre and post course surveys, the course overview, timeline and announcement, and the engagement element. Usually we do not go in for the synchronous engagement, because again, you have to synchronize with the students and you have to fix a time for the lecture. So we go in for asynchronous in order to facilitate the lecturer's time as well, because we don't want to overload you with additional teaching on MOOC. So content creation, of course, is the video recorded lecture. If you need a specific, like some of the lecturers may ask for lab-based MOOC, so that we do recording, but I think in the case of Fkal, it's mostly the video recording. And you do the assessment by quiz and you submit into the toolbox. Okay. So content categories, you have the video, which will be in the YouTube, a link we embed. We have the lecture notes, the audio file, the transcripts, and all the supplementary readings. So these are the content which goes into the MOCs. For this one, I can give you specific instruction based on your MOC, but generally a Mooc has a video lecture for the general use. This is common to all. The lecture notes accompany the video lecture. This is the content. In the case of some MOCs which are designed for visually disabled individuals or visually challenged, we have an audio file. We have a transcript for those who are challenged, again in terms of audio. So we have a transcript where they can read off the supplementary reading, and which is the what we call Bacaan Tambahan. We add that material, and the video conferencing link with any. So these are the elements which go into the Mooc template. Now, reusing content. because the MOOC may be reusing other content, you can definitely use Creative Commons material from the Creative Commons website. You can download lectures from SlideShare and reuse them. It's perfectly okay, because those content creators have created this content for others to reuse. So if you have any lectures which are from the SlideShare open access, you just download, reuse, and cite the original lecturer or the original content creator. Okay, so we are going to set up a recording facility at PEP, and we are going to facilitate recording. Of course, in Fkal, we'll have to use the original, the old way of recording using the video recording material. Okay, and then we will host the content. So if you create content for the MOCs as part of the developmental procedure, please host them on the UMS YouTube account, which is linked to your Gmail, which enables us to embed it into the system. The content license for the MOOC is, we are going to put up a CC BY attribution and a non-commercial license, which we are following the license on our smart, because we don't want people to commercialize your MOOC. So we are setting up the license. We don't use CC BY, because if you use only CC BY, people can download your MOC and reuse it. So we follow the UMS, smart UMS MOOC guideline and the intellectual property as well. So with regard to MOOC, you have the option to actually copyright your lecture notes. Okay, you can copyright your lecture notes, or you can share them as open access. It's entirely up to you. But generally for MOOC, because it's massive open online course, MOOC, the content is expected to be open. But if you feel that you should copyright it and you need to protect it, your video lectures, you can actually copyright the material. Okay, so the hosting we will be doing via our smart learning management system, but we will be using a different route, which means I create a dashboard which is visible to the public. Public can view the MOOCs from there. They can access the smart from the dashboard. Okay, we are going to create that, and this will be launched. We are proposing that the Vice Chancellor launch the MOOC dashboard, I think around March or April. So we have currently got 4 of our colleagues, 4 of our faculties have requested a MOOC. So they've submitted template, they've gone through a review process, and their content is ready for deployment on the MOOC website. So we will host them and we will launch them with the existing MOOCs. Okay, so MOOCs also have forums and pre-course survey. This is part of the process of MOOCs. Okay, so we usually have a test run and then we launch and deploy the MOOC. So this is the overall procedure for the MOOCs, but I will share with you the actual procedure by which you can develop your MOOC. Okay, so I'm going to share the form with you now. So I'm going to share. Okay, I will guide you through the process of the MOOC itself. Okay, so this is a MOOC form. Okay, I'm going to send it to, I'm going to create a link for you. So I'm going to share the link with you. Copy the link. I'm going to copy this link and share in the chat window. Okay, so it's easy for you to understand and it remains. Okay. Okay, so I've shared this link with you in the chat window. You can download it and you can bookmark it for your future use. So anytime you feel like developing a MOOC, you please approach us through your e-learning coordinator. Of course, at the end of the day, in your faculty, your e-learning coordinator, Mr. Afizi, is the gateway for your MOOC. So please approach him first, and then you go through him, and then you fill up the form. Okay, so that's the procedure, because we basically, the trust and authority is to the e-learning coordinator from each faculty. Okay, we will follow up whatever he or she informs us. So this is the MOOC form which is created for you. It's called a UMS MOOC form, and this form is actually designed and developed to facilitate the review process, because earlier what we are doing, we are receiving emails and then tracking the email and reviewing is difficult. So we have created this form so it's easy for us to interact with you. So what I have done is the MOOC form actually contains a template. So I will preview this form. So you have a preview of the form itself. I will share this tab. Okay, so the first thing which you need to do with this form is to click on the MOOC template. There's a link there. or you can copy and paste this URL in the browser window, which will give you a template. You have to download this template and complete the template. You always begin with the names of the authors. So if you have multiple authors for the MOOC, for recognition and for the record, you need to state all their names. And the email will be the email of the corresponding author, what we call the MOOC, the primary content creator for the MOOC. The faculty is very important. So you state your faculty and the title of the MOOC. And this is important because does the MOOC map back to a specific program or course? In that case, you indicate the course code. So later on, we are doing this because we are trying to facilitate you so that later on, you can always map it back for the credit transfers. So this data is important if it maps back to a specific program or course. The proposed date for the launch of the MOOC. So generally, if you submit the form now, you propose a date which is at least 2 to 3 months ahead. Unless you have all the content ready and you are ready to upload, then you can propose a date which is closer. But please take into account the fact that reviewer will need around 2 to 4 weeks. We usually give 2 weeks, but then you require under 2 weeks to improve your course. So that's the proposed launch date. And then this is where you recommend 2 reviewers. So you state their reviewer's name with the title and the email address and the reviewer too. This is where you upload your completed course template. You edit here. It will go into the UMS Google Drive and we will have access to it. So we will be able to transfer it to the reviewer. And finally is the agreement. This is just a formal agreement which says you submit the MOOC template for review on behalf of all the authors and the content creators, and I declare that I submit this MOOC for review. That's just a formal agreement. So this is a form. It's relatively easy to fill up, and I have made it so we streamline the process and facilitate the MOOC development. Now, with regard to the number of MOOCs per faculty, this is based on the KPI of each faculty. Okay, so we leave it to the respective faculty. However, we encourage more lecturers to develop MOCs. Okay, now I will go through the form itself. So the course template form. Okay. Okay. If you have any questions regarding what I'm speaking about, you can please post them in the chat, or you can turn on your microphone. The floor is open for Q&A anytime. So this is the MOOC template itself. Okay, so you can see it in your own respective documents in your Google Docs. Okay, wait 1 second. I just increase the size. Okay, so it's easy for you to see. Okay, this is the instructional design template for MOOC. Those of you who have not seen it, some of you have seen it before. This is similar to a table 3 or less than a table 3, because table 3 was having all the SLT and all. This is the basic design template. So you have a title, the URL for the MOOC. So you don't have to fill this up because this will be filled up by the Center for E-Learning. You can download. Yeah. 1 second. There's a question in the chat box. Anybody has posted? Yeah, doctor. Please answer, Dr. Pitria, right? Please answer. Please turn on mic. You can speak. Dr. Pitria, you wanted to ask something? You have any question? I think you had raised a hand. It's okay. I just proceed. You can post the question in the chat, or you can ask me anytime. So this is the MOOC template. So going back, so first we have the title of the MOOC, the URL for the MOOC, and the features which are here. So this is what you have to plan. This is not to be completed. So this is what you need. The syllabus, the pre and post course survey, this is up to you. This is also up to you. This is important for you because if you have a MOOC and you are having a pre and post course survey, for instance, you have like 50 or 100 students for the MOOC and they are from outside, you can actually use the pre and post course survey to generate a data for and prepare a manuscript for your publications. Okay, so the MOOC is actually a good way in which you can gather data from the audience, like what is the outcomes of the MOOC. So you have a pre-course survey, the qualifications, the expectations, and then you have a post-course survey, and then you have people actually write manuscripts based on the pre and post course survey data. So the Mooc is actually serves two purposes. One, you can actually deploy the Mooc. Secondly, you can develop a publication or write up a manuscript based on the MOC. And this has been done. You can find many of the publications based on surveys of books. Okay, you have the course overview and the course timeline. So just follow these step-by-step elements. And these are the guidelines. Now, if you need a specific instruction on this, you can either contact me or Puan Eugenia, and we will help you through the process of development, because some of you may need specific instruction on what is this welcome text and video, what is the links to course surveys, etc. So for these ones, you can contact us and we will guide you even during the process of development. So now the course structure is actually 1 to 4 credit. Usually we have 1 credit hour and we have around 4 to 12 weeks. So don't extend the Mooc beyond 4 weeks, because based on research, there is a dropout of the students after 4 to 5 weeks. They don't stay on for the course. Okay, so this is some of the conversion to the credit hours. So you have all these things which you need to fill up. You can read to them, and this is the one which you need to complete. So you have a title of the course, the subject area, the level, which can be either introductory, intermediate, or advanced. So this is one which we leave up to you, because you know your course content. Usually for fees, we don't have, unless you want to charge fees through a faculty. You can actually charge fees for the MOC, but you'll have to discuss with your faculty or institute management for the fees. The duration, usually 4 weeks, the schedule and the time commitment for the students per year. The prerequisites, if the students have to attend any other course prior to attending your MOC. Who should take this course? The customer, the student profile, or the customer, what we call the feedback profile. You have language of instruction. The supporting refers to those lecturers who support you, and the transferable skills and the course description. Now, the reason why we require this information is that on the Mooc page, the introductory page, we will use this for a kind of a marketing for your MOC. So this will be in a form of a course introduction, and I will prepare a marketing for each MOC. So this marketing link, which is like a file, can be shared to your audience via your social media, and we will also share it on the UMS links as well. Okay, so that's why we need this particular element of the course description. And then we have the CLO, the LO, you can fill up all these, and the week-wise course distribution. Now, this is what is important. So generally, we have content, activity, and assessment for each week. Okay, so if we have 4 weeks, we will have, I will mark this, we will have 4 of these. So if we'll have 4 blocks like this. So week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Now, the content refers to the content which you will be incorporating into your Mooc. Now, suppose you have a video, you can insert the link here. If you have your lecture notes, you can insert the lecture note link here. This is because the reviewer will need to see that content in order to review your MOC. So the video and the minimum is basically the video and the PDF files of the slides. Okay, that's what we require as a bare minimum. If you have other material like the additional reading material, you can edit here. The second one will be the activity for that particular week. So you can have any one of the activity. For example, discussion forum. Okay, so you have a discussion. I will just highlight this because this is usually the one which most of the MOCs will implement. And finally, the assessment. So usually each week will have one quiz. Okay, so that is to ensure that the students are engaged and not simply watching the video. They will have one quiz, and this will go on for 4 weeks. And in the final week, you can have a final assessment in terms of an assignment or a quiz which covers everything. This is entirely up to the respective designer of the MOC. Okay, so we have the criteria for assessment, which is basically the rubric. Generally for Mooc, we have 2 types of categories. The first one is course completion. The second one is course, you have a, for example, if the student watches all the videos but does not complete all the assignment, they don't get a course completion certificate. They will get a course attendance certificate. The course completion will be given to all those who complete all the videos, all the assessments, and they achieve 90% and above in the assessment. So these are the criteria usually for MOCs to ensure the student engagement. So this is an assessment criteria. You have your profile, which is your CV, which will be put up on the website. The course material, as I mentioned, you put up the links in the section. And then you have your learner testimonial, which will provide, which you won't get in the first instance. So when you have your MOOC running, sometimes the learners will post testimonials later. We will upload those on the website as part of the marketing plan for that MOCs. And then you have your acknowledgement for the for any material which will be reused from other sources like references. Okay, so this is basically the form which you fill in. So if you do wish to develop your MOCs, you can consult with Mr. Hafizi and you can suggest the topic, and then you complete the form and send it to us for evaluation and for review. Okay. So I will share another tab. Okay. So this is what is my beta. I'm showing you the back end of the website. So, okay, this is a website. So I have just called it, designated as Ums Learning Space, in which we host MOOCs, micro-credentials, ODLs, and video libraries. Okay, so this is a learning space. So I need to, this will become a formal website, which will be hosted at JTMK, and it will be accessible outside. Now, the thing about MOCs is that we actually have some of the MOCs. So we have from the FSMP, Adverse Food Reaction, and this one, and then we have some other MOCs as well, including the academic English writing and MUET. So these are some of the MOCs. So what I'm doing is I'm creating this website. So this will be a easy to access website to the public. So what happens is that when they click on the link, it actually connects them back to SMART. And in SMART, they have to register and they carry out the MOC in the SMART. They execute in the MOC in the SMART. Now, the reason why we have done this is because of the security settings. We, as a public university, we cannot create a web page and then host it without having a lot of the end user license agreements. So in order to streamline and make it easier for the lecturers, I offered JTMK this particular proposition, and we will proceed with that for now, okay, until they can host it on a larger space and a larger server. You have to also understand that the constraints in terms of the financial requirements. MOOC, to host a MOOC online using a server, a cloud-based server with all the bells and whistles, actually costs about 3,000 ringgit Malaysia per year. Okay, so it's not viable in terms of the economics, which is why we use this particular platform. I'm telling you the background so you know the basis of how we design this MOC platform. Okay, so that's about it for what I want to tell you about the current developments at the MOC space. Okay, we will open up for Q&A, and I will invite EUGENIA to say something about the OER system, if she has anything to say. EUGENIA.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah.
You want to discuss the OER system or anything else related to MOC?
For MOOC, it's already, I think it's clear from Dr. Kenneth. Unless there's any questions from the audience.
Yeah, please ask any questions. We will answer for you.
Yeah.
Anything, difficulties, challenges, anything else, administrative questions, anything we can answer for you. Sharing the.
I think there's one question from Dr. Nur Hamiza.
Yeah, please, Nur Hamiza.
Okay. Yeah, hi again, Dr.
Hi. Yeah.
It's not related to MOCC. But I'm not so sure whether this is too much to ask from Summative.
No, there's no such thing as too much. This is a roadshow. You can ask anything.
There's one thing about I have a lot of pre-recorded lectures, and then some of my colleagues, we are doing this pre-recorded lecture.
Yeah.
But if the pre-recorded lecture is too long, like slightly over an hour, usually our pre-recorded lecture will be 1 to 2 hours, sort of.
Yeah.
So the Smart UMS are not able to. We are not able to really put it as a video.
Yeah.
So end up we are having like ton of link to Google Drive.
Yeah.
So it's not fun.
Yeah.
Because right, in terms of psychologically lah, student will feel like macam if it is we have like things that look like a video, then it will be fun for them to click. But once it in a form of link, right, then they will have a lot of issue. We totally forgotten about it lah. All these small excuses.
Yeah.
So is it? I'm not so sure whether you've paid enough Moodle to allow us to put this 1 to 2 hours of video, and then it won't be in a form of link, but it will be in a form of video.
Yes, Dr. Nur Hamiza, thank you very much for your question. The thing which I want to know is what is the size of that file? Is it like 1 GB generally? Because usually I will record my lecture, right? But I cannot upload it because the size of the recording after 1.5 hours too big for the system.
Yeah,
Can you see the file? Do you have a reference in your Google Drive? I will check mine.
Usually it's in Google Drive, and then I pre-recorded using Google Meet.
I'm checking mine to see my drive.
Let me see.
So MP4, right?
It's like huge. So it's like it's just a psychologically thingy lah for the student, because for us kan they need to get it done, so they need to get it done. But then again, psychologically, student feel like macam if it is in a form of tu kan, it won't be attractive to them.
Yeah. Actually, Doctor, it actually works two ways. You know what I do? I put the link in the video, but I ask them to click on the link, and they have to actually ask permission. So because so I know how many people are actually watching the video, but then you'll have problem with your notification. If you have 300 students, notification. So that's
it would be a nightmare to allow them one by one.
I'm actually checking one of my link to see what is the size, the properties of that.
I'm looking mine also. It's like, let me see, my welcoming remark.
446 MB it is.
Oh, usually my lecture, right, it would be like, let me see.
Yeah. See, I share my screen. So this is actually 1 hour 47 minutes. It will use up about 446 MB. So we asked Nora, ada hard ka itu limit upload for the lecturer? Because I cannot upload mine in the system. 446 MB cannot.
I think
it's only for 20 MB.
10 MB. 10 MB.
10 MB.
Yeah, 10 MB.
Yeah, mine usually between 90 MB to 100 over MB. So it's way out of limit.
Yeah, Doctor, actually there's a solution for that. Actually, one of the thing is, right, you upload it to YouTube and then make it like unlisted. Can you do that, Doctor? Because that's what I usually do. Yeah.
I haven't tried.
What we do, right? Usually for my case, usually I give them, because I'm actually using the lecture note to find out whether they're actually accessing the video. Usually before the exam, they will ask permission, so we know. But the thing is that you can alternatively from Google Meet, from the Google Drive, you upload to the YouTube, and you don't have to make it public. And then you link that, you embed the the YouTube video inside your slide.
Oh, so that means I have to allow. They need to ask for my permission.
No more.
No need,
YouTube don't need permission. Just make it unlisted. Okay, I will show you where I will just. Do you know where it is, Doctor? You want me to go through it?
No need. I would like to discover on my own. So if I have problem, then I will email you.
Yeah, you email me, because what we do, that's the only solution you give. Okay, there is another thing which I have to notify you about, because last week I went for a meeting in JTMK, and they were saying that in UMS, right, this Google Suite, or Google, what they call Google Enterprise, has given us only 160 TB of storage space. Now all our videos, right, in the system have exceeded 200 TB. So Google is asking us either to pay, or they will stop the recording feature in Google Meet.
So we don't have money to pay, is it?
Because we didn't anticipate it. No, I don't know about the money, but we did not anticipate that everyone will record all the lectures. So it's exceeded the limit. So now what's happening is that Google, you may see in the future, Google may actually turn off the recording feature for us at UMS.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, we'll have to shift to WebEx, because this is what was discussed in the meeting with JTMK. They may inform us formally, but for now, we have to be ready for that. We have to actually use WebEx. The problem with WebEx is that students complain with the connectivity.
Oh yeah. Thanks for the notification, nevertheless.
Yeah, it's not formally notified, but I'm giving you heads up, so we are ready in case. So we are waiting for the formal notification from them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Nur Hamiza. Sorry about everything. We actually
worries.
work within a very limited window. So
Yeah.
sometimes we have to ask for things like licenses and things like that, which we have to plan budgets earlier, but usually our budgets are not approved.
Oh, no worry. I do understand. I've served UMS for almost 15 years already. It's quite common. Okay, thank you.
Give excuses, which is not correct, but it's not.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Anything else is there? So yeah, Dr. Hafizi, Mr. Hafizi has said upload video to YouTube, make it unlisted, create. Yeah, it's the best solution. Are any of you using that feature still of which we had the video recording Screencast-O-Matic, Dr. Hafizi?
I'm not so sure who are still using the video or screen capture software, but I believe some of us already got the license, the Screencast-O-Matic, right?
Yeah, but actually the license has expired.
Right?
Yeah, 2-year license. So now you can only record 15 minutes.
Dr. Kenneth, I will suggest another video editing software. It is called Movavi. If you Movavi. We have Movavi Academic. I think you can explore.
Okay, thank you.
Find out the license. There's an educational license, and it's very easy to use.
Movavi, right? Thank you.
Movavi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hafizi. I was not aware of this. Actually, we also have, because most of the students are using the which one that the KineMaster. So usually we adapt to KineMaster as well. Okay, I will explore that. Any other questions related to the MOC itself? MOC development design. Usually for the MOC, you can use your existing lecture. I would suggest that to save up your time, you use your existing lecture notes, and you break it up, and you can design the MOC based on the existing lecture. So that makes you fulfill the requirements for the MOC, but still you can have the content in place.
Dr. Kenneth, when actually that the faculty need to submit MOOC, do we have deadlines or
no there is
throughout the year?
No, you can submit it anytime. It's the earlier we submit, the better, because so we will suppose the lecturer initiates the process, the reviewer will take about 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks for the correction. It's 4 weeks based on the experience with other, and then you can deploy it after that. So the deployment is fairly simple. If you need conditional formatting, you inform us. We will help you with that.
Right. So this is just my idea, I mean, because creating and developing MOOC takes a lot of effort. I mean, in my opinion, it's almost the same thing like teaching another subject. Would it be good if PEP can suggest to UMS, to those lecturers who are involved in MOOC, who are creating MOOC, to be given lesser burden or lesser credit hours in teaching? Meaning, in other words, previously we are teaching 2 subjects, and then maybe that person can teach 1 subject, the normal subject, and then another one is MOOC. So what do you think?
Actually, Mr. Hafizi, we had last time, you can actually, I'm actually looking at the SMPPI website. MOOC is actually covered under the publication category. It will actually, when you put up a MOOC there, right, and you put up a link there, it will actually be registered in the system itself, and it will be captured in your ELNPT. Have you seen that in the SMPPI or PPI system? You have a category.
I saw that.
So I tried it out myself. So I became the first test. So actually, it recorded in the ELNPT. But you, as Puan Eugenia found out, you need to contact Mr. ID to confirm it. Mr. ID is in charge of the gatekeeper for that, right, Puan Eugenia?
Yes, that is for non-index publication. For example, when you submit any documents in OER or videos in OER, then only if you see that there's nobody how do you say, review it or anything, then you have to contact Mr. ID to inform him about the submission. But about the Mooc, when I take a look at the LNPT, the marks is quite high. It's 1.1, which is equivalent to 100% of publication. So I'm not sure whether, yeah. Have you seen the latest LNPT rubrics, Dr. Kenneth?
Yeah, actually, I have not seen the latest LNPT rubric because it keeps changing. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but
it keeps
they have
changing.
the workshop. They have the workshop. So only, I think only Puan Kerry will be able to confirm it. But I saw it last time. It's 0.9. It was 0.9.
Yeah.
Yes,
But
Dr.
now courses.
It's part of the KRA one. Dr. Ricky is saying it's part of the KRA one. Yes, that's correct.
So courses Mooc will be 1.1, but any submission, non-index submission in OER would be 0.25. Yeah.
So that means essentially four non-index will constitute one index,
Yes.
like 1 point. So that's fair and square.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how they calculate. I'm not sure how they calculate, but because I cannot see, because I have the other publication, index publication as well. They did not do very detailed marking. They didn't give this one is how many, that one how many. They just give a total number.
Yeah, that's correct. So you can refer to the, I think we have to refer this one, we have to ask Puan Kerry for the latest, but it changes because after the, last time they have the, what's the roadshow and then the, what is that, the meeting, right? And everyone, all the lecturers have different opinions and then it changed, but I didn't see the current one as yet, as of today. But it will be captured by the system in any way. And then we will try to, that's what we are trying to do. So we try to, we launch it. So when we launch, usually we give the lecturer get recognition. That's what we are trying to do. So we facilitate that part. That's why I'm trying to create the website and have it launched by the Honorable Vice Chancellor. So at least you get recognition. That's what we had done earlier to recognize the lecturers. Okay, so that is what, I mean, that's the best we can do for you. Any other questions? I'm actually checking.
Dr. Kenneth.
Yes, Dr. Jeffrey.
Will everything or all the documentation, the step-by-step or the process, the flow will be emailed to us through maybe Madam Eugene?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah. Earlier we had that problem. You know, that's why I set up the website so everything is clear and traceable. So we know when you submitted the document, we will track the reviewer and so on and so forth. Yeah, right, Puan Eugenia.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
so the link,
any update will be
documentation.
from Dr. Hafizi as well.
Okay, then. Thank you.
Yeah,
right.
we ensure the review process goes smoothly because last time there was slight delay, but that's why I create the website. Okay, we actually have a form for reviewer as well. I have a reviewer's form. So I will show you if any of you all are reviewer template. I have a template for that forms. Okay, you can ask any question while I find the form. We will share the form so it's fair on everyone. Okay, I will share with you. So this is actually confidential. I won't share the response, but I'll share with you the form. Okay, so I will share the form so you know what the reviewer response form is. Okay, so to be fair, I will share. So I won't share the responses because this is confidential form, but I can share the overall template of the form itself. So this is the MOC review form. So this is what the reviewer will see. So if you are appointed as a reviewer, you will see this title, authors, etc., etc. Now this is the first element which the reviewer sees, the Mooc course structure. Okay, so you have the course title, synopsis, etc., etc. We have these. And the recommendations for improvement of this section. So the first section is the course structure. The second section will be the course content. Again, the reviewer will go through this template. Okay. Then you have the general recommendation for improvement and the review submission. And the reviewer will say he or she will not copy it and so on and so forth. I can share this form with you, but don't fill it up until you actually are a reviewer. Okay, I will share the form. I don't mind sharing the form, but please don't fill it up because others it will stop our tracking. We are tracking the form. Okay. One Eugenia, is it okay? I have your permission to share the form.
Oh, yes, yes.
Okay.
It's yours.
Share it, because you're in charge, so I don't want to. So I'll just share the link with you. So I copy the link. So this is fair. I only request, please do not fill it up, because this is the form, so you can view it and you can see what is in the form. So when you do your MOOC, you know what is expected of you. Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Dr. Ricky did mention that DL, OER, and MOC are part of the KRA for facility. So we leave it up to the management to decide how many MOCs. But having said that, you can develop your own MOC. It's encouraged actually, because yesterday during the MQA session, even Prof. Rasid mentioned about that encouraged the development of the MOCs and the OERs as part of the UMS strategic plan. Because as part of the strategy of UMS, we are actually trying to aim for two things. One is the sustainability in terms of the finance, and the second thing is terms of the globalization. Now, the MOOC actually fulfills both these, because it globalizes the university by creating an expertise like a niche. And the second thing, eventually the MOOCs will become a sustainable financial instrument. So you will generate income for yourself and for your faculty through the MOC. Okay, so this is actually our steps towards that. Eventually, some people will take over and they will have that. But we are setting up the agenda for this particular university's agenda. Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Hafizi, anything else is there? Thank you, Dr. Ricky.
So far we have 3 lecturers who have MOOC. We have Madam Mary, Madam Daria, and also Madam Izati.
Yeah. That's good. In fact, Madam Maria and Daria and Izati were the first to develop the MOCs from your faculty.
Yeah. So if someone is interested in developing MOOC, regarding videos, who will assist us, because PP is in KK?
Yeah, if you need the video, that's what. And then actually with the roadshow, usually we used to go and visit, and then but we can't do that. So
can we get Nora or Zul to come here? I will just ask.
I will ask to director. Maybe we can ask. Actually, Fazil is to do the recording, the video recording, the camera. But Zul and Nora is to edit. I can ask the director. You need help with recording the video, or you need with editing the video file?
I think more to the editing.
Editing, okay. So editing we can do here. You just need to tell us the editing parameters, because editing has to be done with the content creator, because sometimes they say cut here, cut there, and we can do that for you. But improvement of the video quality definitely can be done, like the quality in terms of the resolution that and the audio and all that can be done.
Or maybe next, PP can invite lecturers who do MOOC to be in KK for 1 or 2 weeks. That would be better, right? Yeah.
Can. But what is the procedure for travel? Is the how do you say, the PKPD and all these things? Is it difficult to travel from Labuan to KK for you?
Not so much. I'm not so sure. I think,
but it can be done that way as well.
Can be done, yeah.
Can be done. Hopefully, by the middle or the end of this year, we won't have this pandemic anymore, and then it should be okay. Anything else, Mr. Hafizi?
What about OER? I mean, are you going to talk about OER a little bit?
So OER, I think I will just ask Puan Eugenia. Puan Eugenia, I want to say
Okay.
about OER.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just switch off.
Okay.
Okay. Please take over. Okay.
All right. Okay. So what I'm sharing here is the website, the OER website. So I'm just going to share the link so everybody can go. Because I noticed when I take a look at the authors in Fkal, some of you are not even registered. Okay, so I'm not sure about that one. All right, hold on.
Nora can assist us in registering you right now if you have any problem. So Nora, yeah.
So anybody who'd like to register now, you can do so because we have Nora online here. So as you can see, if you were to take a look at my screen here, for those who have already registered, okay, and then I think they've already submitted a lot of materials in, okay, you can just log in here. But how do you need to register for OER? Okay, so what you need to do is to contact Nora, okay? So you can just write down your name here to, so that Nora can help you to sign you up for this OER, to have an account in OER, okay? Anybody who's interested, you can just list down your name in the group chat. Yeah. Nora, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so yeah. There are, Dr. Amina is, she is interested to register for the OER, yeah? Okay. So while waiting, for others to submit their names, okay? Correct. Okay, so while waiting, what we have to do is to just check, okay, what is communities and what is collections. Okay, I'm just going to go through here. All right, so there's a lot of things that you need to know for how do we need to go through this or browse through this OER. First things first, about communities. Okay, so what is community here? Community is the faculty. Okay, we call them faculty. We call them community, our faculty, our centers, okay, or our institute. Okay, so we go by the name of community instead. Okay, so let's take a look at Labuan. Okay, there you go. All right, so we can see the authors or the issue date, when did they submit. Okay, so we have a lot of authors in Labuan, okay, Fkal. All right, so you can see the numbers on the side. These are the materials that they submitted, okay, from the author. Okay, how many materials you've submitted in OER, okay. So from here also, I know some of you did not register or did not submit the OER materials or don't have the account. Okay, so collections, okay, collections is this one. These are the things that we can put as our collection for the materials that we need to submit. Okay, so far we have the normal collections that we usually have would be e-articles, e-books, e-notes, and educational videos, which you can even put in the videos, your weekly video of you conducting your lecture online, okay, or your recorded lecture. I usually put in YouTube and unlisted, but I just get the link so that to be put in OER, okay. So yeah, as you can see, the numbers here also say that, oh, this faculty, okay, they have one e-article, they have one e-note, and they don't have educational videos. That you look at the collections that they have for that particular faculty or the institute or the centers. Okay, so me, I'm coming from PPIB, Center for the Promotion of Knowledge and Language Learning. Okay, we have a total of 55 materials. Okay, yeah, we are not top 3 like Fkal, but we are trying to get a lot of people to be interested in submitting their materials. Okay, so far we are very famous with the videos only. Okay, no articles submitted yet, and then yeah, ebooks and e-notes. Okay, all right. Do you have any questions so far? Any questions from the floor? Okay, no questions. Okay, so while waiting for Nora to create your account, I'm just going to go over on how you need to submit your materials. Okay, so what you have to do is, once you've already logged in, okay, go under the My Account, and then you just click on the submission button. Okay, once you click on the submission button, you can see the list of your submissions. Okay, what have you submitted before this? Okay, so click on Start a New Submission in order to submit your materials. Okay, so far I have 4 collections. Okay, for those who have just registered, okay, today, only some, yeah, not all. You might not have this options. You might not have this collection options. So that one you need to let Nora know. Okay, you need to update us. Okay, what's going on with your OER? Some they only appear there, select a collection, but it's empty. Okay, but yeah, you cannot see because I have 2 mirror here. When I drop down, when I click on this, the drop down, you cannot see the options that we have down here. Okay, so under select a collection, I have e-articles, I have e-books, e-notes, and educational videos. If I would like to add more things, I can just inform Nora. I would like to add, other options, other collections, okay, that I would like to have here. Okay, but so far I'm fine with the 4 collections that I have in my drop down, which you cannot see. Okay, as I can see from my other laptop, I cannot see once I project in Google Meet. I'm fine with article, book, notes, and also the video. Okay, all right, so once you've already selected, okay, for me, I select educational videos. Okay, so then I click on next. All right, so the most important thing is for you to put in or key in your author's name. Okay, so definitely the first one will be you, and then you just, for me, okay, Eugenia. Oh no, this one. Good. Okay, and then I put my first name. Okay, and then I click on the word add. Okay, then it's there. You can add more people in your authors. Okay, you can add more people if there are any more people inside the video. Okay, so you can just add the name. Yeah, so it will be listed down here. Okay, all right, and then the title. Okay, so you can just put in, okay, the course code name. Okay, 00302 unit 5. Okay, all right, and then I have other titles. Okay, I don't have. So then if you have others, okay, other titles, then you can just add. All right. Maybe this are the subtitles that you can put in, okay, what you are going to mention in Unit 5. Okay, so date of issue, okay, very important because you cannot proceed if you don't put in this, okay. So you just state the year, okay, so January, maybe today, okay, publisher, no, citation, no, okay. All right, none, okay, type, you just find video, okay, there you go. All right, language, just English, and then click on next. Okay, so any keywords that you'd like to put in, okay, so food, for example, okay, and then abstract, no, description, okay. This one, I usually put my YouTube link, okay, so when I put in my YouTube link, okay, hold on, I pick something from YouTube. Okay. Okay, I just, okay, so I just click next once I'm done with putting in my link. Okay, then please enter the full path of the file, okay, from the computer. So if you have the soft copy of your video in your computer, then you need to put in here, okay. File description, okay, so you just again write down UB00302 or the title of your video, okay, and then click next. Okay, all right, so just they want you to review, okay, review submission, okay, if there's anything wrong, then you need to make some corrections. You can just go and previous, yeah, you can just click on the previous, okay, all right, so just click next. Okay, just click next. Okay, and then you just have to, I grant the license, okay. So again, when you submit this OER, make sure you don't have any copyright issues, okay. And we have this Creative Commons license to help us with, if we are submitting our PPT, yeah, we have the logo that you can get. I think Dr. Kenneth has mentioned about this, okay, last year. Last year it was famous for the Creative Commons copyright issue, yeah. Okay, I cannot click on the complete submission because once it's clicked, you are not allowed to remove whatever that you have submitted in OER. Okay, so make sure when you click on the word complete submission, that is the thing that you want to put in OER because it's already, once it's in there, you cannot remove it. Okay, all right. Okay, so that is how you need to submit your materials in OER. Okay, any questions? Do you have any questions? If there are no questions, I would like to move to how you need to go to submit your materials in SMPPI. No questions? Okay, I think that was very easy, right, to submit? Okay, so I'm going to share the SMPPI website. Okay. So this one, all academicians, you have this one, right? Okay. So when you are here, okay, when you are here, all you have to do to submit your materials that you have already submitted in OER, all you have to do is just to go under publication and look for publication V2. Okay. Oops, what happened? Okay, yeah, too long either. Okay. All right, publication V2. Okay. And then what's new in publication? Okay, all right, close. Okay. So how, this is an example where I've already put in the non-indexed video. Okay. Yeah. So this is the, yeah. And it's also in my LNPT list, but it is under non-indexed. Okay. Okay. So let's take a look at add new publication. If you want to put in, okay, I've already submitted my video in OER, but now I want to put it as my LNPT, okay? Put it in my LNPT as my publication. Okay, so add new publication, okay? So it says here article, but if you were to click on this drop-down menu, it has a lot. For me, I choose general, okay, in order to submit my video. So, okay, search for possible duplicates so that you don't submit it every time, okay. Unit 5, okay. All right, so there's no possible duplicate. So what you need to do is to next proceed. I think everybody's familiar with this, but it's just that we have a lot of things that we can skip for this one. Okay. All right, so this one is still under general. Okay. So this one, there's a lot of things in the drop-down menu, which is not, yeah, it cannot mirror whatever that I have here. I've already clicked on the drop-down menu. But if I were to have a video, okay, to be posted, that is already posted in OER, and then I want to put in SMPPI, I would just put it as a note. Okay, so I get that this is general and it's a note from my unit 5 of that subject. Okay, so I don't have ISBN, DOI, so this one I should skip. And then the title, okay, the title would be, again, I repeat the title that I have put in OER. Okay, and then no abstract, okay, I just skip that one. Okay, so publication level, I can just put in university, and then publication month and year, again, January 2022. Okay, submission year 2022. Okay, all right, I just put in, okay. But in the LMPT, without acceptance year also can. Okay, all right, so I don't have any of this. Okay, current publication state. Okay, publish, I've already published in OER. Okay, so you just save section A. Okay, oh, this one very important. It should be in, oh no, indexing, yeah, it's not. This one, yes, indexing status should be non-indexed. Okay, yeah, so we put it as non-indexed. Okay, published, and then first author, or Dr. Kenneth, should we put as first author or editor?
For the writer status,
Yeah,
it's actually first author.
first author, right?
Yeah. Actually, that's
Okay.
why if you want to thumba the author means from UMS, right? You can add there in that. It will search. If it's not there, you have to add it as another author. So usually for our weightage in UMS, it's the first author or the corresponding author which counts.
Yeah.
So so always put yourself as first author. Or is there a drop down for corresponding? Can you drop down that?
Yeah, it's not showing in
Yeah,
Google Meet.
just put first.
But,
first author.
what I have is first author, editor, translator, collaborative author, corresponding author.
Don't
So
use
we have 5 choices.
Yeah, don't use collaborative. Others you won't capture in your ELNPT. Use
Okay.
only the first, preferably.
Yeah.
If you're
Yeah.
collaborative, of course, you have to state that. But usually for the OER material, you can use the first because you will be the depositor. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Kenneth. All right. So again, just choose first author since you are the one who's doing the video. Okay. All right. And then if you have corresponding author, okay, then you can just put in your friend's name. Okay, if he or she is there with you in that video. Okay. All right. And then once that's done, okay, you put in your name and your your colleague name, okay? Or if you're the only one, then you just put yours, okay? All right, so this is URL. Again, you just, I think we should take the one, the link that is from OER, okay? Once you've already submit the video in OER, okay, you have OER link. So that is what you need to submit here, okay? Do not put in the YouTube link, okay? So just get the OER link once you've already submit, okay? The link will be given to you, and then you put it here. I also do it for Smart V3 as well. Whatever link that I post in Smart V3, it is from OER, just to get a lot of hits, okay? How many people have clicked on my OER materials, okay? So we can see who have downloaded, who have, actually go and retrieve data from my materials, okay? So that one is the OER link, okay? So what's the proof, okay? So I usually, screenshot my OER page, and then I just put here as proof of submission. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and then upload, and then the files here, and then I hereby grant, okay, take this one, and then submit for verification. Okay. So once it is there, okay, it's already listed, you can contact Mr. ID to get it verified. Okay. All right. Any questions? Any questions from the floor?
No question from me. Thank you.
Okay. I think that was
It's
very clear, right? Very easy. Because this is what we usually do in
it's useful.
for publication.
It's useful for us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So I think Dr. Kenneth has also given you the link for the uploading the materials in OER. Okay, our UMS OER. Okay. Okay, I think that's all from me. If there are any questions, you can just ask in the chat, in call messages, or also you can just switch on your mic and ask.
Thank you very much, Eugenia, for a very clear presentation. So, Madam Eugenia is in charge of the OER and the Moocs. So, if you have any query related to that, you can send it to Madam Eugenia and then CC to us, because sometimes we also handle the complaints or issues related to these two elements.